Testing. Test, test.
I hear you perfectly. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Halloween to everybody listening in on Mix 96.1 FM or watching along on PotsdamBears.com. Alongside former Potsdam Bears coach John Horn and Todd Truax, engineering the broadcast on the radio side, I'm Taylor Salisbury, welcoming you here to Maxey Hall for this regular season opener. In women's hockey, it is the SUNY Potsdam Bears taking on the visiting Alvernia Golden Wolves. And John, for Potsdam, first time playing Alvernia ever that at least I can think of here on their home turf. And right now they're trying to gain more momentum that they started to get at the end of the season last year as they tied the first game of a doubleheader to Buffalo State and then ended up winning that last game by 1 goal.
Well, I tell you, it's great to be with you, Taylor. This is always an exciting time to be here for the start of hockey season. Nothing like it. I got a little preview last week on that exhibition game with the men's team here, but here we are here to start this women's season. They had a couple of games, exhibition games, and it looks to me like it was a 3-2 loss at Utica and a 1-0 victory at Canton. But, that's exhibition. Here we are for the real deal. This is certainly a non-league game. Alvernia comes to us, I believe, from Reading, Pennsylvania. Long trip for them, and so we're off and running here at the start of this season. And again, nobody, I don't believe we played before, and I think there's only been one common opponent that we saw last year, and that was King's College, and both teams were successful against them. Certainly new blood here at the North Country for SUNY Potsdam to play, and we'll also go over some new blood that's in the roster. Quite a few freshmen coming into the program as of the start of the season, and we will mention that more as the game goes on. There's a shot right on Perron, and she easily knocks that one away. Brought into the neutral zone, couple whacks at it. And now the Golden Wolves will come away with it. Down into the offensive zone. That is going to be chipped behind the goal mouth. Grabbing it now here for the Golden Wolves was DeMagistris. Flipped up down the ice. Looks like getting a piece of it here for the Bears was Castro, so the icing was waved off. 15 veterans in this lineup for the Bears here tonight, 7 newcomers, including a freshman goaltender. So we'll see how these lines start to mesh here as we get underway here. I know Coach Cook is excited about this opportunity, but they got to get things rolling here early. If you're watching on the PotsdamBears.com side, you will notice that the Golden Wolves are going left to right, as they are wearing the dark red maroon jerseys with the white trim and gold stripe, whereas the SUNY Potsdam Bears are in their home white uniforms, black shoulders, as well as black striping with maroon. That shot goes wide of the net on the left side of Alvernia's netminder, who we will also speak about here momentarily. Puck comes up to the blue line, just out over to center ice. So regrouping now are the Bears. That pass goes underneath the skate of Megan Mills. Chasing it down here for the Golden Wolves is Burton, a senior defenseman here, as both teams right now just jockeying for possession of the puck. Can't really hold on to it for more than about 2 or 3 seconds, and we're already about 3 minutes into the first period of play. Good effort out there by number 7, Sophia Lees from Whitehorse, Vermont. She's a freshman on this veteran squad, playing up on that fourth line, I believe, showing good speed here in the early going. And here's a possible 3-on-2 with a deke and a backhander towards the net that goes off the pad, the right pad of Stephanie Skarupa. I'm going to take a look at that. Was that Rachel Kane that came down there? I do believe it was, yes. Good move here, got to her, got around the defender, got to the side, but ran out of room on that shot attempt. Kane, one of the 2 captains of this SUNY Potsdam squad this year. The other one being goaltender Magali Perron. And I actually asked Coach Cook about that as she came up here before the game during warm-ups. I said, do you think that's a little
extra added pressure, almost like Luongo with the with the Vancouver Canucks. And she said, to be honest, she can handle it. She needs that kind of momentum to get her going here at the start of the season. And it was unanimous by the entire team that she has that C on her jersey.
Well, she's been a backstop of this program for a lot of years. Certainly not tall in stature, but big in game.
Absolutely.
She just plays outstanding here.
Rebecca Kane whiffed on her shot there. It was thrown all the way down the ice, left to right here. Picked up once again by the Bears. Knocked off with a poke check there. Nice move. Keeping it alive here was going to be number 13, Hill for Alvernia. Back pass here to the defense. This is Shut. She has a little bit of time and space. Cross ice. That one is grabbed. Gallardi gets away from one check. However, she will lose on the second attempt. That's backhanded into the offensive zone as the Bears try to get a full line change.
Like what I see here out of both clubs, puck movement is very, very good here on the part of both teams in this early going.
5 minutes has elapsed here, still scoreless, and to be honest, they haven't put any shots on goal yet on the scoreboard. I think we've seen at least one apiece by each team.
Yeah, but nice little move by Addie Golarte coming down there, a little backhand pass between the legs to get a shot on goal. Number 2 for the Golden Wolves.
Galarte, a sophomore forward from Anchorage, Alaska, definitely going from one side of the country to the other. And we also have to mention that, too. We have a goalie from Belgium now here on this Bears squad. That gets all the way to Perron. She will smother it for the whistle.
A lot of action in front of her. She saw that was a positional save, as we'll talk about from here on again, off again, but she got herself in the right spot to get that save and then gather in that very soft little rebound.
As we mentioned, starting goaltenders here for Alvernia. It is number 1, Stephanie Skarupa, a sophomore goaltender from Des Plaines, Illinois. He went to Maine West High School, and for the SUNY Potsdam Bears, it is the senior captain, Magali Perron. And that senior goalie hoping that she can come out with a big W here in the first game of our doubleheader this weekend. And over the blue line, SUNY Potsdam has control of it. Here's a defensive slap shot that goes off the stick of Oliveira, who now gets the pass up, and here's a breakaway. Oh, could not control that, was Morris. Luckily, Bears had one defenseman back in time to take the puck away.
Well, nice look on that stretch pass from the Golden Wolves.
Over the blue line, this is Ask, and that is chipped in to the Bears bench by De Magistris.
Well, like we were talking about here just a minute or so ago, both teams seem to be well prepared to play the game here, moving the puck very, very well, positionally very strong, very sound in this early going. So both teams well prepared for this game here tonight.
Face-off one here by Alvernia. That will bobble its way and bounce back into the upper corner. And now advancing the puck forward and taking it away is Sophia Lease. Lease looking for the pass, deflected away. She gets it right back, and now will pass it away to Bullock. Bullock chips it down low. Ooh, coming right out in front of the net, but it was missed there at the last moment by Lease. She might have had a beautiful opportunity in front of the net to score that first goal.
Good work behind the goal line and good positioning by Lease. I really like the way that she skates. She's a first-year player we mentioned. We're calling her name on the early going here, but she's a very quick skater and good positional player as well.
Having to tiptoe around with it there was Jalen Castro as the rest of her offensive teammates were changing up here. And she's still going strong. However, now she's going to draw the penalty for tripping.
Tripping call there. Easy call for the referee, who was right in position to make that call. Jalen Castro, very good hockey player, and she put up some nice points last year, big points in big games, and so we really look to her to be one of the stalwarts on this Bears club this year.
But as of right now, she's going to have to wait and spend 2 minutes in the sin bin as the Bears are going to be down here shorthanded with 12 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in the opening period.
Let's hope it goes the full 2 minutes.
Well, yeah, ultimately that would be the hope here, but to be honest, we really don't know much about Alvernia, and we don't have any statistics so far based on their penalty kill, their power play, or anything of that nature. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens.
All we know is that last year they had a fairly successful year,
yes.
14-10-2, and so in their conference, and really had a breakout year for the coach and everybody. So I would expect that they have a pretty potent power play.
Yes, in his 7th season, it is Josh Brandwein for the Golden Wolves. The assistant coaches are Ashley Magel, Matt Magel, and Max Horn. And for the SUNY Potsdam Bears, as we have mentioned briefly, Olivia Cook in her 3rd season as head coach here for the Bears. Assistant coach Cameron Barnes, and the Bears are able to clear the puck out of the danger zone with about $1:22 remaining in the tripping call.
That's Riley Hill behind the net with the puck, making the outlet pass. Some good puck movement through the neutral zone here, as that's number 27 coming in. Connick with possession of the puck.
Being pinned up on the half wall there by Edwards. She'll try to keep racing after it, as well as Bullock. Puck squirts free. Getting away with it briefly was Purdy. However, she could not control it on the backhand. Taken away by the Wolves. Going around the net, back up to the upper right-hand corner, and passing it up to the blue line. Down low. It is Bullock battling along the boards. Stolen away there by Evans on the circle. Here's a shot towards the net. Perron makes the save. Gets up a little bit of a push on the shooter, Morris. And it looks like cooler heads are going to prevail.
Morris was right there, but a great pad save by Perron. We've become accustomed to watching those big saves, and she certainly made one there with 31 seconds to go in the advantage for the Golden Wolves.
Face off to the right of Perron. One back here by SUNY Potsdam. That one poked out of the skates, and here's the captain, Palmer, trying to throw it out in front. There's another shot. Good save off the left pillow by Perron.
Good puck movement here by the Golden Wolves. You can see that they have some good. They're really pretty well positioned in their power play. Which is 4 seconds to go here, but lots of puck movement and movement by the players. So pretty well schooled here on their power play attempts.
Alvernia, pun intended, are pouncing on their prey on the power play. However, they are going to come up short, as now it has expired. We're back to even strength play. On the left wing side, trying to curl in with the puck was Paradis, and that's going to roll all the way into the waiting arms of Skarupa.
Face-off is going to be to her right here with 10:20 to go in the first period. We talked about the Bears. Bears came off kind of a disappointing season last year, 6-13-4, missing the playoffs. That's overall in the league, 2-12-4 in the league, and they're looking to really start to establish themselves and get some identity. You know, they relied on Kaylee Merrill for so many years here, and of course Rebecca Holmes was their top scorer. She's not with the program this year, so you know the Bears are going to have to try to find their answers from someplace else.
Well, they're trying to give the puck away there. No bueno in the defensive zone, and that hit the post. As trying to get away with it again is Gallardi. However, she loses this one, and that is corralled here, thrown in by Pro. Getting an assist here. Mills, the first one to the puck, loses that one. Trying to alley-oop it up into the air, but failing was Evans. She'll get away with it to the blue line and loses it back to the Bears.
Good puck movement there by Jessica Bullock from Norfolk, New York. She's going to have to be one of the stalwarts there. I like the way she plays back on the blue line. Good steady defender, good skills, and so we're going to rely on her for lots of minutes this year.
Off the skate, Golden Wolves once again trying to break free into the zone. However, they will be called on the offside.
Pretty close checking right now, honestly, even though I think both teams are positionally strong. They're skating very well and moving the puck, but, with that good positional play by both teams, there's just not a lot of open ice right now.
Bullock looking for an outlet pass that does get through the legs of the defender. However, it is a delayed offsides. It was touched by the Bears, and the whistle is blown.
Golden Wolves will get a change here, looking to bring out that unit, I think, of DeMagistris, Tobin, and Artrip.
Loose puck picked up here, and that is Jasuki, who is going to be rubbed off there by Bullock on the half wall. Bringing it forward is Marantula. And she gets away from a check, passes it back to the blue line. Here's a good opportunity, but missing the target there was Clifford. However, City Potsdam still has it wide open on the other side, but couldn't control it. Was Bullock again, or no, that is actually Marandola. And now this one flipped over the side of the net. However, that goes back down into the corner.
That might have caught a little iron up there on the crossbar on the way through.
It just might, and now tremendous pressure being put on here by the Bears with about 7 minutes remaining here in the first period. Still scoreless between these two teams. Right in front of the Golden Wolves bench, it's taken away. There will be a penalty called here. It's the first one against Alvernia, and it's going to be for a body check. Let's see if we can get the number here. Didn't necessarily have it initially.
One of our blind spots down
yes,
here,
absolutely.
Right along the wall right below us here. It's going to be number 11 that'll be going off for them. Our trip, I believe. Check that pronunciation.
I believe you are right. Our trip. And so this is going to be the first opportunity of the new season for the Bears on the power play. Nice, good, crisp tape-to-tape passes there between the defensemen. That one is knocked back to Bullock to the right wing side. Trying to go across through traffic. However, that one is stopped on a dime and sent back the other way by the Golden Wolves.
Good puck movement there initially. Bullock with it now, coming out. Both teams, the Bears regrouping, all five back inside the zone. That could have been a trip.
It is. It's going to be, as the head official, Merriman, is going to be calling another penalty here against Alvernia. So quickly, it is now a 5-on-3 opportunity, a golden opportunity for SUNY Potsdam.
Yeah, that's going to be a long one too here with a minute 19 to go in this 5-on-3. Bears will be out there. Marandola will be out there along with Whiteside on the left-hand side, if you will. There's a timeout being called real early here.
And it's Alvernia University trying to give themselves a little bit of a reprieve here as head coach Brandwein, again, as we mentioned in his 7th season, will try to chalk up a play so that they're able to get the puck down as quick as possible and get it out of the defensive zone.
Well, he wants to get the players on there very early in this game, 7:07 to go in the first period, and a lengthy power play advantage for the Bears. I'm sure he wants to make sure that he has the players that he wants on this perhaps a momentum shifting opportunity for the Bears. Bears will be in action tomorrow afternoon.
Yes, they will. It will be the second of our doubleheader right back here at Maxey Hall Arena, as again the women's hockey team will play Alvernia University, and the puck drop for that will be at 3 p.m. as once again John and I will bring you the action both on Mix 96.1 FM as well as PotsdamBears.com.
It's an interesting schedule this year, as you've seen. We actually have no games in December.
Yes,
it's a very thin schedule for the men's team and women's team here. So we're going to load up actually no game next weekend at all.
No, nothing.
And so we'll be on doing a lot of games in that in the second semester. But it's a light first semester here as we look at this 5-on-3 opportunity.
Working it around beautifully from right to left. Finally, the slap shot goes towards the net and just misses. However, SUNY Potsdam still has possession. In the circle, the face-off circle to the left. That one is waffle boarded away by Skarupa. And once again, still another slap shot towards the net. That one fired wide to the right side this time. Still about 42 seconds remaining on the first penalty of this 5-on-3.
Good movement by the Bears here, looking for an open shot across that seam. Good defensive work by the Golden Wolves here, but the Bears can't find the lane to get the shot away.
Another one finally gets to the netminder, and she will quickly cover this one up so that her teammates can get some new, fresh personnel on the ice.
Bears are going to come out here with Paradis, and let's see. Looks like Isabel Boyd will be centering Paradis, and number 3, Gamberg, a freshman from Upper Dublin, PA, on the left-hand side.
And then on defense, you have Clifford matched with Bullock right now, as they will reset here to the left of the net of Skarupa. That puck got flipped up into the Alvernia bench. Again, a face-off one here by SUNY Potsdam. Well done. And they will keep the momentum going here as they're down here on the left side of the ice. And you can feel it tilting a little bit right now. That one's tipped towards the net. They score! Tipped on the right side of the goalie. The Bears up early, 1-0.
Shot from the point. I think that's going to be number 28 that will get credit for that, I think.
Yeah, I believe it's going to be Isabel Boyd.
That was a great shot. I'm going to call it a shot pass from the point there, going on the low to the side. The stick was just off that pipe on what would be our left-hand side, the right-hand side of Skarupa. But that's a power play marker for the Bears. And they still, I believe, have 48 seconds remaining.
That they do.
In the Singleton penalty, meaning 1, not a name.
Yes, there's 48 seconds remaining here on the power play for SUNY Potsdam, so chalk it up 1-for-1. Good way to start the season.
Emma Hart is in the penalty box for Alvernia.
Behind the net. Left there, streaking away with the puck is Whiteside. She'll go right to left across the ice. However, a little bit overzealous was Castro on the offside.
Well, beautiful skater, Marissa Whiteside. First time we've had an opportunity to look at her in this first period along Sioux, Ontario, just across the water from us here in northern New York. But beautiful skater.
Few different players that are literally right across the river going up towards Messina and Akwesasne area. Always nice to have players from around the area, especially on the other side in the Canadian part, as that one is shot all the way down the ice into the corner of the Zamboni, and that should kill the rest of the second power play attempt for the Bears.
Good rush here coming up the ice with the Bears. Coming through is Rebecca Kane. She's going to get a shot, just misses wide.
Picked up here with support. That was Pro, who also gets knocked down for her troubles. Flipped up in the air, brought down by the glove of Visco. Visco gets away from one, curls away from another. That one goes in front of the net, but it's kicked aside by the Golden Wolves. 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here in the first period, and the Bears now have the lead 1-0.
You know, the Bears, impressive right now. I'm just, both teams, I'm really impressed with their positional play. I mean, this is very sound hockey here, as both teams are well coached in, not only their forechecking systems, but defensive end coverage, play through the neutral zone. Really, all aspects of the game here are being demonstrated very, very well by both clubs.
On the face-off, that is Elise tying up with Gallardi. SUNY Potsdam again regains possession here in the offensive zone. Bullock takes this one away. However, she's getting whacked at, and she'll have to regroup in the neutral zone. With some speed behind her now, it's a possible opportunity to throw it out in front of the net. However, that did go off of a skate and is picked up here by the Golden Wolves.
Well, we talked about it before, and we're going to mention her name throughout the whole night here. Jessica Bullock, the junior, is going to she's going to be seeing lots of minutes here this season.
Shot towards Perral. That is the first one in probably about 6 or 7 minutes, and she makes the easy stop.
Might have been on that left pad or that right pad save on their power play.
And there's a backhander towards the net by Boyd, looking for her second goal in only the first period. However, that one goes into the breadbasket of the Alvernia netminder.
Well, Skarupa, she is a sophomore. She played most of the games last year, 16 of them, and she had a 1.90 goals against and a 92% save percentage. So she's a high-quality goaltender there on the other end. You can see how she has earned those numbers.
Tremendous asset indeed for the Golden Wolves. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking here. It says she's 5'5". In person, she looks a lot bigger than 5'5" to me. However, in any event, in the upper left-hand corner, there's a scrum for it. Brought out by the Golden Wolves. Coming in, hawking the puck there was Rathburn. However, she does not take it with her halfway down the boards. As now, that puck is whipped all the way down the ice. It will come back here into the defensive zone of the Golden Wolves, excuse me.
Golden Wolves, Bears and the Wolves. Here we got the animal show going tonight, that's for sure. And so the Golden Wolves, they will not be able to change, obviously, on that ice. Bears might get some fresh legs out there. It's going to be Marissa Whiteside on the draw here for the Bears, which is to the left of goaltender Skarupa.
This one, shot off the half wall, down behind the end boards, and whips around, and that one is knocked away by the stick of Skarupa, kept alive, however, on a turnover, and again kept alive for a second time at the blue line by SUNY Potsdam. They're doing a tremendous job at keeping the puck in the offensive territory, because right now Alvernia is just trying to hack at it to get it out.
Well, the Bears are playing aggressive on the blue line, staying uptight on that blue line, and that's going to be able to keep the puck in, especially if they're trying their breakout just along the wall. We're going to get a tripping call here on the Bears. Not liked officially by that. That's going to be Gamberg who's going to be going off on the trip. She's really kind of trying to plead her case, as is Kane, saying, how can you get a trip when you step on my stick? And I think that's what happened.
Can definitely hear Coach Cook and company literally right underneath us here in the Crow's Nest trying to plead the case, as you mentioned, Kane as well, and she finally steps away from the officials here. It will still be a penalty kill against SUNY Potsdam, as the faceoff is to the right of the goal of Perron.
Well, I haven't seen him overturn very many calls in my experience here. As we used to say in the business, it's not for that call, it's for the next one.
Yeah. So the Bears brought it down out of their own zone. Nicely done. As now it's a cross ice pass that goes right off of the blade of number 28, Log. Holding on to it right now is going to be Marantula. She comes out in front of the net. Shot just kicked away at the last second by Skarupa.
Boy, Peru was right there looking for that rebound. I thought it was going to find her right off the left-hand side here, certainly as we look at it, but the puck just evaded her stick.
And again, being aggressive right now. The tactic is working. That time it's Konishnik, who is still trying to go back towards the puck. That one goes off a stick. Here's a chance, shorthanded again. However, that one is deflected away by a skate of a defender for Alvernia. But look at this beautiful penalty kill here by SUNY Potsdam, at least shaving about 25 seconds off the power play.
Well, that was Josie Purdy on that effort there. She was really stellar, touching the puck a couple of times there on that penalty kill in the offensive zone. So very, very hard work. Nice job by Josie Purdy.
30 seconds remaining here before the horn, as with about 18 seconds in the power play, speeding down as fast as possible was Hill. However, she overskated the puck, as she was also rubbed into the boards by Clifford. Clifford pins her up. Puck comes loose, back up to the blue line. This is going to be Palmer. Her shot goes right into the body of Clifford. She'll throw it down the ice. It's going to be a foot race, and it is called icing on the Bears as the penalty just expired, and we have about 1.4 seconds remaining on the clock.
I think that penalty was going to expire with 7 seconds to go. And the goaltender is out. Why not? 1.4 seconds.
Give it a shot.
You know, essentially what you got to do is get another blocker up front there, but shot knocked away. Good effort. Oh, look at it.
Beautiful tie-up there. However, Isabel Boyd gets her mask caught with the other center iceman. That was Connick.
Yeah, don't see that very often, but certainly they were tangled up there as the whistle blew to end that first period with the Bears on top by 1 goal. That power play marker by, I'm going to say it was Isabel Boyd.
That's who it looked like on the tip, at least on the right side of the post.
We'll see the official scoring here in a minute, but a well-played period here, right from both ends. The goaltenders are earning their keep here tonight, and we've had some special teams that have shown some skill and savvy, and so a real entertaining game here as we start this season.
And we still have 40 minutes left to go in this first game of our doubleheader this weekend. We're going to step aside here for about 8 minutes or so, and we'll be right back to give you the first intermission statistics and also the out-of-town score. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back on Mix 96.1 FM and on PotsdamBears.com. Todd, we're coming back in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the first intermission here at the Maxey Hall Arena in Potsdam, New York on a rainy Halloween night. It is women's hockey, and right now the SUNY Potsdam Bears hold a 1-0 lead over the Alvernia Golden Wolves. Once again, alongside former Potsdam Bears coach John Horn and Todd Truex. Engineering this broadcast, I'm Taylor Salisbury. John, solid first period for both teams, but really, after the first 20 minutes of play, SUNY Potsdam, great positioning, great passing, and they were able to squeak one by late in the first.
Yes, indeed. And that goal came at 14:06 of the first period. It was a power play marker for Isabel Boyd. That will be her first of this season. Jessica Bullock would pick up an assist, as well as Elsie Clifford would get an assist as well. Shots on goal in that period had the Bears out shooting the Golden Wolves by 8-5. And again, just a couple of penalties in that period. Jalen Castro would go off for tripping. Jocelyn A. Tripp would go out for body checking. Emma Hart for tripping, and then Jane Gamberg for tripping as well. Contested a little bit on the Gamberg penalty. I think the player stepped on her stick, and she ended up.
It was pretty close.
Getting called, but referee had a pretty good look at it. He was right. She was right there. So, good solid period here, and like we were saying, I thought positionally everybody was in a good place for both teams, and it's been a very entertaining game so far.
And quite an interesting choice there, especially on the penalty kill for SUNY Potsdam. They were very aggressive, going for the puck on the defense of Alvernia University, but in the end, it ultimately paid off.
Well, I think their aggressiveness was identified by the fact that there were some loose pucks, so they were challenging the loose pucks. I think if there was more identifiable possession by Alvernia, they probably wouldn't have pressed them quite as much, especially below the goal line. But when that puck was loose, and a little bit, if we're going to criticize Alvernia, a little bit of loose puck movement there on the power play allowed the Bears to be a little bit more aggressive.
So, before we start the second period of play, we will look at the out-of-town scoreboard here for other SUNY Potsdam games going on. The women's volleyball team comes up short at Cortland as they drop 3-0 against the Red Dragons. The men's hockey team is at Fredonia State this evening, and after one period of play, the Bears are up 1-0, so that's good news here for SUNY Potsdam. For the SUNY Canton Kangaroos, the women's hockey team was at Stevenson, Maryland this afternoon. They ended up winning 3-1, and the men's hockey team right now, about 10 minutes away, is taking on number 7 Trane University, and they are down by 1 goal after 20 minutes of play. St. Lawrence University women's hockey team was playing Dartmouth this afternoon, and they end up winning by 1 goal, 2-1. And the men's hockey team was going to start against Lake Superior State University at 7 p.m. However, there was no score mentioned as we checked during the intermission. And for Clarkson University, their women's hockey team comes out with a W against Harvard, 2-1. And the men's hockey team is playing across town against Michigan Tech, and they are losing 2-0 at the end of the first period. And the horn's going to sound there. John, we are just about set for the middle frame in this first game of the regular season.
Well, long change period here, so we'll see how both teams handle that, being mindful of getting that puck in deep before they can make changes. But the Bears will get that face-off, and speaking of getting it in deep, they were able to get it down out in front on the turnover. Bears get a couple of looks at it. Stroper was there. Another shot just off the side of the net.
2 beautiful chances there for Castro. However, she is knocked aside by Skarupa. And right now, Skarupa is really the only reason that the Bears are not up by at least 1 or 2 more goals here. That puck will go down all the way right to left The icing is waved off, though, as it was touched by the Bears. Streaking out of her own defensive zone, putting it up there was number 16, Rachel Kane. That goes around the boards to the opposite side half wall next to the crowd. And it's picked up here. The Golden Wolves again trying to just break this one out, which they had trouble with in that first period of play.
Good back pressure there by number 3, Gamberg, who was able to get that puck deflected in the neutral zone to prevent that offensive rush by Alvernia. So there's going to be a stoppage in play here. I assume right below us that the puck went into the Alvernia bench. So the faceoff is going to be here in the neutral zone to the right of the red line for us.
And the faceoff is won here by Alvernia University. Puck flipped up into the air, batted away here, and skating after it with a burst of speed was Gallardi. However, SUNY Potsdam is able to get it out over the blue line. It trickles right back in. A nice battle for it there, as getting tangled up was Gallardi as well as Edwards. Trying to get away. Ooh, that's going to be called every time in women's hockey, as Bullock just got flattened by, I believe that's number 6, Marissa Caswell, a sophomore defenseman for the Golden Wolves. So going back to the power play are the Bears.
I think that's going to be 28 going in there.
Oh, yes, it is. Excuse me.
That was, I tell you, that's a tough play. Actually, they used to call that quite a bit. They never called it in men's hockey. Then they were calling it, and now they're not calling it quite so much. When the puck leaves the stick, you end up knocking someone down. But every day of the week, that's going to be a penalty here in women's hockey.
And an early power play opportunity again here for SUNY Potsdam. Wide open on the left wing side with a wrist shot towards the net was Rebecca Kane. Another save by the Golden Wolves goalie. Stolen away, and that one is snapped down the ice as Perron will come out between the posts, and we'll leave that there for Bullock.
Victoria Prue on this power play right now. She didn't have the puck, but she was behind the net to get it started.
And now she'll pass that one to Kane. Once more behind the net, back to the blue line. That is chipped off the boards, and again, controlled by the Bears. Couple whacks at it here, as trying to pinch down was Victoria Prue. However, she'll get some support there. She lost it the last second. Thankfully, behind her was Paradis.
You'll notice that Alvernia is pressing the loose pucks here as well. So they have a very aggressive nature on their penalty kill, especially inside their own zone.
Here's a shot towards the net, as it looked like it might have been a pass across. Castro lets it go. Again, that one knocked into the corner. Here, wide open in front of the net was Paradis, and the backhander just misses the right side post.
Puck is moving around here pretty good. Bears showing a couple of different looks as Bullock walks the blue line, gets possession below, out in front. Paradis had time, a little bit more time than she thought. There was a softness in that coverage there of the Alvernia Golden Wolves.
That one goes off the blocker of Skarupa, and that will finish off the third power play opportunity here for SUNY Potsdam so far in this contest. They are 1 for 3. And we have about 16 minutes in change remaining here in the second period. Here's another breakout for SUNY Potsdam. The backhand pass too far there for Boyd, and it's picked up by Tosi.
Good play by Elsie Clifford there earlier to get that puck up and get it through the neutral zone.
Here's Boyd with speed, 2-on-1, right foot of the net, and that one is just wide, as that is the third opportunity in about a 3-minute span for Paradis to put one in the back of the net.
Well, she's getting in the position, and the puck seems to be finding her, and that's a good look there. Sometimes you get yourself in a position where you can't be found by the players, and the puck doesn't touch your stick. It's touching her stick a lot. That's a good look for her.
Loose puck, backhanded back into the Bears defensive zone by Layla Tosi, and she will quickly go off for a change. Substituting for her now is going to be Log, the left side defenseman here for Alvernia. Thrown around the boards on the far side. Again, picked up here. And now in front of the net, a chance for Lease. However, she could not get a piece of the lumber on the rubber. As the Golden Wolves try their luck here to at least get down and get a shot on net here. Perron not really challenged as much as she possibly could be in this game. Well, as you mentioned, only 5 shots there for the Golden Wolves in that first period. And I don't think they've had one yet so far.
Well, one of them was labeled to be a goal, but it wasn't for that tremendous save by Magali Perron there on that power play marker early in the first period. But up until this point, she hasn't been as active as the goaltender there, Skarupa.
Skarupa gets a snow dusting there by Whiteside as she was trying to track down the puck on a foot race with the last defender in front of her and try to make this a 2-goal game. As the face-off is won by Alvernia University, but again, they can't get out of their own zone. Slap shot is just slapped by Bullock wide of the left side post.
Good hard shot.
Using her body to her advantage there was Caswell as she backhands this one behind the net of Perron. And she'll go back after it on the opposite side of the ice, really showing the presence that's needed here by the Golden Wolves. It looks like the rest of the team is just kind of standing there and maybe a little bit of slow feet.
Well, just getting their feet underneath them probably after a fairly long road trip, but nonetheless, both teams are starting to show it here just a little bit of their antsiness, if you will. They're missing some opportunities because I think they're just trying to force things a little bit too much.
Getting to it first here was Moa Log. Came right out in front of the crease. That's going to be a face-off as it's quickly covered up. And we have ourselves another meeting of the minds in front of the keeper.
Wow.
However, again, cooler heads are going to prevail.
Yeah, Jalen Castro out in front collecting a little bit of attention here from the Alvernia team. She was in the position there, and Alvernia doing what they want to do. They're going to clear out in front of their goaltending. So just good solid hockey.
Shot towards the net in a couple of feet. There's a backhander. Not sure if Skarupa actually got a piece of it. And it's kept in here briefly by the Bears. However, now here's a 2-on-1 going back the other way with speed, deking in and getting knocked down. Going right into Perron was Palmer. And finally, the whistle's blown here by the official, and it will be a hooking call against SUNY Potsdam from that 2-on-1.
And I think that's going to be Marandola that'll be going off, I think. I'm not sure. We'll see that number.
That's who it looked like.
When that number came up. She got back into the play there. Good back pressure. The number 19 they're putting up there.
Yeah,
Marandola, that's right. And coming in, she was good, solid back pressure. She couldn't quite get the body angle that she wanted there, so she had to use the stick to help her, but it helped keep the puck out of the net.
Second power play opportunity here for Alvernia University as they're 0 for 1 so far in the game. As they will set up and they will go right to left. That one I think just went off the mask of Perron. Stayed away from the mesh though as play continues. Log back to the point. As Shutt will give it right back to her. Log. Interesting play there. Kind of went out over the blue line to get a little bit of speed behind her feet.
I've never seen that.
Hey, I mean, if that's a way to gain momentum on your shot towards the net, by all means, takes the shot that time, and it goes right into the trapper of Perron.
Well, again, Law had that shot. She was going short side. Perron had the angle covered there mostly, but had to use the glove to make the save there. But, Law ends up coming back almost to the red line, getting some momentum going, and she was able to get the puck and get it low into the zone and get a shot on goal. But I've not seen that before.
It's quite interesting as there's still about a minute remaining in the tripping call here to, or actually the hooking call to SUNY Potsdam. Below the net, it will come back up to the blue line at the right faceoff circle, now into the middle. And that one fanned on down in the left hash by Connick. However, she's going to get bailed out here by her defensive partner that now has the puck again. That's Riley Hill. Connick looking, surveying the landscape as she will go around the umbrella, left to right. Nobody going over there to get the puck. A little bit of miscommunication there by Edwards as well as Visco. And there's a shot. Visco deflects it with the blade of her stick. 10 seconds remaining on the power play.
A little bit of a pick over there by Goularte initially, and she's quite active inside the front of the net there. Little action in the corner. She plays an aggressive game.
So that'll do it here. A slap shot goes off of the shin of one of the Golden Wolves players, and that one gloved in the crowd. Nicely done over there in the 6th row. Well,
we're approaching the midway point of the game and the midway point of the second period here. The Bears were able to kill off that penalty to Marandola here. As the face-off is to the right of goaltender Perron, and the Bears would win yet another face-off.
One back to Clifford as she will try to get that one up the half wall. It took a funny bounce, and it was turned over back to Alvernia University. However, regrouping here are the Bears. That gets tipped aside. Another great pass leading the charge up to Marandola. She tries to go around the net. However, there's a couple of bodies in her way. She could not put it in front of Skarupa for a possible opportunity on net.
That was a great pass by Rathburn to get that opportunity going into the zone in full flight.
As we are now halfway through the second frame of this game, still 1-0 SUNY Potsdam over Alvernia University. Trying to stick handle with this one and get a pass forward. That one is knocked aside off the stick of Rebecca Kane, thrown down the ice. No icing, and the first one back for it is Clifford.
Good neutral zone coverage there by Alvernia to try to prevent that stretch pass from connecting.
Couple whacks at it here, as the Bears now are feeling the pressure in their own zone. They gave a lot to the Golden Wolves in that first period. Now they were just briefly feeling it. Coming back the other way, right to left, is Boyd. She has the lone goal so far in the game and for the Bears this season. She fans on the pass back up to the blue line. Tried to get back in time, and it's brought back down by Kane before she takes a bump into the boards.
Good pressure here by the Bears. They're going to possess it behind the net briefly there before Alvernia could get it and make a good solid play coming back. But good numbers for the Bears as they get back into the zone. I was thinking that Perron was going to throw that puck out and keep the play going and trying to catch Alvernia on the change.
They wanted, the officials were telling her to play it, but she was not having any of that.
Yeah, I think maybe she didn't recognize that Alvernia was going to be in the midst of a change and felt that there was going to be more pressure coming in there. But had she gotten rid of that puck, she really would have caught Alvernia with not many players on the ice.
Probably none at all, because all five were trying to get to the bench.
Yeah.
That one goes off the elbow of a SUNY Potsdam player on the opposite side here in front of her own bench. Nice, nifty deke, now coming into the center. Not once, but twice. That was Rachel Kane who still has it. With control. Drop pass, however, a little bit too far there. Intended for Pro. And getting back there. Oh, losing an edge there. However, Perron comes out to play the puck, making sure that it wasn't going to be a turnover and a potential goal against the Bears.
Yeah, losing an edge, but a good smart play by Perron.
Another turnover possibly. No. Now finally on the right wing side, coming back up with it over the blue line was Konishnik. Couldn't get the shot towards the net. And now here we go again on the breakout. That one shot from the blue line right into the chest of Perron.
Tegan Konishnik with a good surge there. She's a freshman from Fenton, Michigan, I believe.
Yes, I do believe that is correct. You're batting 1,000 tonight. Are you playing for the Blue Jays or the Dodgers?
Oh, boy.
We're talking about that. With the World Series going on, everything is sports crazy right now during this time of the year.
Just about ready to get things going, I believe.
Yeah, just about.
In Toronto.
As we still have 7 minutes remaining here on the clock. 1-0 Bears over the Golden Wolves. That one is left there for Bullock, and it looks like she's going to come out stride for stride. Loses the puck, however, she gets support as Paradis will put that below the net. And she'll go back in for that, chipped away by Evans. Looking up, possibly for that stretch pass. Caswell tries to connect with Connick. She gets a piece of it, so that will negate the icing call. However, it looks like there will be one here against SUNY Potsdam, as letting that one go, I believe, was Paradis.
Wrapping it around the far wall, hoping that there would be a player over there to receive it. Nobody at home, and so that went all the way down the ice for the face-off. 6:12 to go in this second period. Face-off to the left of Perron.
On the face-off, looks like it's going to be in Marandula, and she was going to match up there against DeMagistris, but she got ejected from the face-off dot, and almost becomes good fortune for the Golden Wolves as the puck somehow slides to Perron. However, she was up for the task.
Yeah, really in good positional save there. She was concentrating as it was number 11, Jocelyn Artrip, that was right in the position to get a stick on it, but the defense had good body position on that as well.
One more time between Artrip and Marandula, and Marandula is the one who comes out strong with the face-off win. That one goes off a blade of a Bear. That is actually going to be on the opposite side. Rebecca Kane. She'll bring it over the blue line. That shot over the crossbar. Marandula, the first one there. As it will make its way back up in front of the SUNY Potsdam bench. It goes off the skate of Marandula, back towards the net. And it looks like there will be a face-off here. I thought there was a little bit of jawing going on there by Skarupa back to Marandula about possibly putting her stick in her trap.
Yeah, a little bit. They thought maybe a little bit of a late whack at it, but no harm, no foul. And so the face-off is going to be inside the zone of Alvernia. The Golden Wolves here are making the trip up from Reading, Pennsylvania.
And once again, they will play here tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. start. And depending on how the rest of this game goes, the Golden Wolves may be looking for some revenge as they are still down here 1-0 with about 5 minutes and 16 seconds remaining. Offside called against AU.
You know, their play is still pretty solid here. They're not getting a lot of grade A goal scoring opportunities, but they are playing a good systemized approach to the game. I like their defensive end work. The Bears are finding their shots at a premium as well. So both teams continue to play strong inside their defensive end. That's the backstop of a good quality team and good coaching here. You start with defense and see what can happen. But the Bears are doing a good job, and the Golden Wolves are as well.
Tipped aside, back into the neutral zone. It's the captain, Tosi, across ice. Tape pass, and is thrown back in by King. I do believe they are going to call that an icing, as it did look like King was right here in front of the red line when she tried to throw that into the zone.
Well, the face-off is going to be down here to the right of goaltender Skropa. On the face-off is going to be Isabel Boyd. She's out there with her line mates, Megan Mills, and I believe Josie Purdy, yes.
Bullock tried to backhand that one back in, and it's thrown again down the ice. That time by Maddie Morris, the freshman from Schnecksville, Pennsylvania. And they will just reset at the same face-off circle here on the right side of the crease.
One of the 7 freshmen in the lineup today, Mara Edwards from Kingston, Ontario, is out there on the blue line with Jessica Bullock. She just done a fine job so far this evening.
And here's a chance for a 2-on-1 scramble. Getting back in time to break that one up was Isabel Boyd, who again is just coming up strong here in this first game of the season.
Yeah, strong skater, back in the game.
That puck goes up into the air and is brought down cleanly by the Bears as they get over the red line, and will dump this one in, and it bounces right in front of the net almost, as Alvernia looks to try to once again get free here on the right wing side. Getting away from the check, that was De Magistris, and the puck goes into the mesh briefly there, so it will be a face-off back here, and it will be to the left of the SUNY Potsdam net.
You know, these first-year players are factoring in this game here, and they're going to do nothing but get better as the season rolls on. But right now, you can see that Coach Cook has done a nice job getting some good, solid skaters, and they can really play the game. And that was a terrific save by Perrant there, flashing the leather.
Perrant with some lightning reflexes on that one, because that shot had a whole lot of sauce behind it.
One of these freshman units that you're going to want to pay attention to is that line. We have Whiteside, Gamberg, and Paradis. All freshmen here are playing on that second unit for the Bears.
Earlier in the second period, Paradis had 3 chances to quite possibly score a goal here. However, she was not able to make enough contact with the puck. Bringing it down here. That's a shot towards the net that is deflected away as Gamberg let it go. Puck comes out over the blue line. Now as they try to go right to left, it's going to go back into center ice. Deking away with it is going to be Whiteside. However, it is offside, SUNY Potsdam.
Yeah, just half a stride. Good solid call by Christie, the linesman, getting that one. So both teams get an opportunity to get a change here. Marandola will bring that unit out with Kane and Castro for the Bears.
Literally right below us here in the crow's nest. That one is knocked back down to the ice by a glove of a Golden Wolf. And now it's finally picked up. Pass back here from Evans. Advancing the puck forward. That skips over the stick of Galate down the ice. However, there will be no icing as Rachel Kane got to it first. Marandula out of her own zone. Keeps it going, and she shoots it off the boards, back to herself. That one backhanded towards the net. That will be a shot recorded by Rebecca Kane. And another save there for Skarupe.
Nice keep close to the blue line there by Rachel Kane.
Flip back down along the end boards. This is Prue. Haven't really called her name too much as we typically did last season. However, she still is a big part of this SUNY Potsdam squad that has come back this season.
Good skater.
Shot towards the net, went off a shin. For a second there, I don't think that Stephanie Skarupa saw that one coming towards her.
No, there was lots of traffic in front of her. She had no chance to see that.
And that one floats over her head as again it goes off a shaft. Still about 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining here before the end of the second period. As the Bears just clutching and clinging to a 1-goal lead here. In front of the Bears bench, this is Bullock. She's going to skate back to the opposite side on the right. Curls away, not once but twice. Third time's a charm as she's down in the Zamboni corner. Ooh, that one I think barely hit the tip of the glove of the AU netminder, barely keeping it out underneath the crossbar.
You can see the skill level of Bullock. She's a fine skater and a strong puck handler as well, and she was showing off her wares right there.
Speaking of which, here's a chance they score! It's a nifty deke by Alexis Oliveira, and now the game is tied with 48.6 seconds remaining in the second period.
Yeah, and she's a first-year player as well, but a nice move to the inside. And she really had a lot of net to shoot at there. The opening became pretty evident late in the zone, so Perron did not have a chance to get out and get an angle because it was so close in there.
And we also have to mention, out of all the goalies here for SUNY Potsdam, Perron is the shortest at only 5'3", so her trying to do maybe a little bit of a split stretch on the breakaway there just beats her on the left side pad.
Yeah, there was a lot of net showing on that one, but really the problem came because the defender got beat to the inside, and there was an opportunity for a good clear shot with lots of options for the shooter.
That one paddled away. However, it's going to come right back out in front of the net as Mills got an opportunity to do a wraparound. However, Skarupa was hugging the post there beautifully and makes the stop.
Well, 16 seconds to go here. Those late period goals are momentum shifters here. We'll see how Alvernia handles this, and the Bears, what their reaction is going to be as this period winds down and what we get going here at the start of the third.
10 seconds remaining here as just killing the time is going to be Tosi. And we got two of the Bears players trying to desperately take this puck away, and that will do it for the second period of play here at the Maxey Hall Arena in Potsdam, New York. And now your score is tied 1 apiece here between SUNY Potsdam and Alvernia University.
That was an even strength goal late in this period to tie it up. So the Bears will have to regroup just a little bit. It's been a solid outing here for the Bears, but you've got to play 60 minutes to make sure that you come away on the positive side of things. And just a little bit of an error there by the defensive player created that good goal scoring opportunity for Alvernia, and they took full advantage of it.
Still one more period of play, and it's quite literally anybody's game. We're basically back to a 0-0 tie. However, it is 1-1. We'll be back in about 8 minutes or so to give you your second period intermission statistics and also give you the updated out-of-town scores as well as the SUNYAC out-of-town scores. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly here on Mix 96.1 FM and PotsdamBears.com. All right, Todd, we're back in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Maxey Hall, ladies and gentlemen. Here on Halloween night, it's women's hockey on Mix 96.1 FM and streaming live on PotsdamBears.com. For Todd Truax, engineering this broadcast on the radio side, and for my color commentating partner, John Horn, I'm Taylor Salisbury. After 2 periods of play here this evening, it is now tied 1 apiece between SUNY Potsdam and Alvernia University. And John, a little bit more of the same as we saw in that first period between these two teams. A lot of aggressiveness being put on. In the end, it was a turnover, a costly turnover, and a nice deke into the slot that cost the lead to SUNY Potsdam.
Well, it came late in that period, 19-12 to be exact, when it would be Alexis Oliveira who would get that goal, her first of the year. Marissa Caswell would pick up the lone assist on that. Shots in that period had the Bears outshooting the Golden Wolves by 10-6 for a 2-period total of 18 versus 11 here. So it just right from the start and up to through this period of time, you can call it what you want. Captain Obvious. These are 2 evenly matched teams. The score indicates that. Goaltending at both ends has been very, very good. And it's just been a well-played hockey game for this early in the season. Puck movement has been outstanding. We've seen some good special teams. The Bears have gotten a power play marker. Both teams have killed power play opportunities very well.
Multiple.
So the PK has been very well and has been very good. And really, the effort has been there. Lots of back pressure, if you will, on the offensive surges of the opposing team. And so really just a good, solid effort.
As we will now take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, which has been updated here. We mentioned the SUNY Potsdam women's volleyball team. They lost 3-0 to Cortland. The men's hockey team at Fredonia State now up 2-1 at the end of 2 periods of play. For the SUNY Canton Kangaroos, the women's hockey team ended up winning 3-1 over Stevenson. The men's hockey team is down 1-0 after 40 minutes of play to number 7, Treen University. For St. Lawrence University, the women's hockey team taking on Dartmouth, they won 2-1. And the men's hockey team is up 2-1 after 2 periods against the Lake Superior State University. And for the Clarkson Golden Knights, the women's hockey team beats Harvard 2-1. And the men's hockey team, who were down at the end of the first period 2-0, are now tied 3-3 with about 2 minutes remaining in the second period. So Clarkson trying to continue the momentum they had from last weekend's doubleheader against North Dakota.
Yeah, that was a big weekend for Clarkson. They certainly came out on the top end on Friday night with a 1-0 victory, and they came up on the short end Saturday and again in a 1-0 victory for North Dakota. So playing very, very well against top-ranked clubs here. So it's great to be back into the hockey business, and we're here at the start of the 3rd period in Maxey Hall. Entertaining game here, the Bears in Alvernia. They'll be with us again tomorrow afternoon at 3. The men's team will be playing Fredonia again tomorrow. So not sure how that's going to work out. One of those I don't believe is a league contest.
Yeah, they started doing that technical thing about a year or 2 ago, and well, at the start of the regular season, it looks like they might just continue doing that going forward. It's
we talk about the league. The women's league is very competitive with Plattsburgh and Oswego and so on, but they have a new team in the league this year. William Smith will be joining the ranks of the SUNYAC women's hockey programs, and so it'll be fun to see them come to Maxey Hall and play as a league contest.
Always nice to see some extra teams being added into the league. Gives us a little bit of diversity, as you mentioned here, with conference games.
The men's team will have officially this year Hobart and Skidmore as a member of the Sunyak League, replacing Brockport and Geneseo, who left to play last season.
As right now, this will go all the way down the ice. They call, well, I thought they were going to call icing, but they actually wave it off. Now, an outlet pass picked up here by Mills as she tries to get away from the defense. She'll slap that one down low behind the goal mouth of Skorupa. And this one shot back to the half wall, picked up on the far side. Backhander, it's a blind pass. However, it is picked up by Addie Galarte as she throws it towards the net. Perron will just kick it away with the stick. However, the Bears have not been able to get it out of the defensive zone. Here's Edwards now as she tries to get away from danger. That's a missed errant pass, and in the slot, luckily Bullock was there to recover for SUNY Potsdam. Now she's trying to chase this one down. She does pick it up, puts it on the side of the net. The puck is loose, and Skorupa almost being bulldozed into her own net down there.
Good no call there on the physical contact.
Up in the air, continuing along with it there briefly was Konishnik. Now with the puck, losing sight of that one was Rathburn. And it's picked up here. The loose puck is shot in by Kayla Moriarty. SUNY Potsdam trying to regain possession. They do. Cross-ice pass, and now out of her own zone comes Rianne Rathburn as she dumps this one in and will go off for a much-needed breather. Hacking away at that and picking the puck back up. Nicely done was Lease. We haven't heard her name as much as we did in the first period, but now, again, this could pay dividends for SUNY Potsdam.
Well, she's a nice skater. She'll factor in this game, I'm sure, both offensively and defensively, but she's a nice skater.
Out at the top of the face-off dot. That is shot back down low into the corner, corralled by Layla Tosi. Tosi using her body to her advantage, and she will get support as now we have a good rugby scrum down in the corner. Finally, the whistle blows, and we will have a face-off here to the right of the net.
Good timing on that whistle. Oftentimes on those scrums, they'll let it go too long and, wanting to keep the game going. I get it, but the fact of the matter is that if it's not going to get going, then blow it dead and let's start over.
There's 5 bodies down there. Yeah. I mean, it's buried. That's all you can do at that point. Face-off win once more for the Bears, as that one is going to be flipped off the glass to the opposite side in front of the Golden Wolves bench, chipped along, and it's picked up here by the last line of defense, Mara Edwards. Kept alive in the offensive territory by Alvernia, and that one will blow by the skate of Tobin as AU has to regroup.
Potsdam just happy getting the puck into the neutral zone there. They weren't able to formulate anything, so it was chipped into that neutral zone. We have that freshman line out there with Whiteside, Gamberg, and Paradis right now putting pressure behind the goal line.
Whiteside getting some help there. Paradis slaps that away, and she's trying to get away from her attacker. However, the puck is going to sail along, and it's going to go to the blue line. Here's a shot. Not a lot of traffic there for a possible tip, and that's knocked aside. Reloading here. Shot towards the net goes off the paddle again as Rathburn takes her second shot in a row.
Good positioning there, and a nice look offensively off of that forecheck to find the open defensive player back on the blue line. Rayanne Rathbun, the sophomore from Skinny Atlas, New York, was able to get 2 good shots away towards the net, and the saves had to be made.
On the face-off, Lease will lose that one. And here's a chance if they can catch up. Finally, it's thrown across to the far side, off the boards, and trying to grab it here were the Golden Wolves. However, that's taken away by Lease, looking for the forward pass. No dice, as it was too far for Konishnik. Puck brought along here by Rachel Kane. That one again gets up to the blue line, and SUNY Potsdam having a little bit of difficulty here with even trying to get this one out of their own zone. Let's see if they can do it this time. No, that goes off a body, and again, it's kept in here by Connick. Looking out in front of the net, that was shut, the freshman. And that will just be safely thrown into the Zamboni corner by the Bears.
Attempted clear by Kane there, wasn't able to get out of the zone, and Alvernia will keep the puck in. However, they're going to try to get a change here and get some fresh legs here as they are pressing offensively, and they do get that change here, and they're able to jump into their offensive zone. Rebound out there by Perrant was dangerous for a while, but here's Alvernia with a really solid forechecking effort here, has hemmed the Bears in for a while.
The junior defenseman Bullock got that puck up, and now it's going to be Castro with it. Back pass. That one gets through a few bodies. However, it got redirected at the last second. Shot towards the net. That one goes up and over the crossbar as Addie Galarte let a tremendous-looking wrist shot go from the top of the circle.
Yeah, and actually Perrant went down on that a little bit and had to reach up to attempt to make that save. Bears get away with what could have been an interference call right there, and so fortunate that the whistle didn't blow.
Starting to get a little bit more physical here as two players for the Golden Wolves collide. That was Oliveira and Tobin.
We'll see if fatigue starts to play a factor here early in the year. Albeit both teams, I think, have had exhibition contests here, so it's not really their first game of the year. But nonetheless, the first real game, we might not have an opportunity to show either mental or physical. This is fatigue. This has been a highly contested game here throughout the first 2/3 of the game. So we'll see if fatigue plays an issue.
Still tied at 1 apiece here with about 12 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Turnover, possibly. No, it is knocked away, and it's going to be a foot race for the loose puck here, picked up by SUNY Potsdam.
Nice work by Marissa Whiteside, the freshman from Longsaw, Ontario, who got back into that play. She's not showing any signs of fatigue.
Not at all, as bringing this one along is going to be Clifford. She has a little bit of space here as she'll backhand it towards the net. And again, that one is just going to be poked away by Skarupa.
Like the decision-making there by Gamberg, who got the puck, was going to look to make a play back to the point, but could see that the defender was going to be pressed back there, so she just kept it and got the puck deep in the zone.
Whiteside getting that one, connecting on the pass to Paradis. She puts it out in front of the net, but it goes through a few legs and is picked up, brought back into center ice by Noelle de Margatris.
I tell you, Paradis is a fine hockey player there. She used her body to make a defensive play and gain control of the puck. She is a solid player. We're going to have...
I think they're both going to go.
Are they going to take two of them?
I believe so. We'll see here. Yeah, I believe it's going to be matching minors here for both teams, and they'll skate for a side.
And matching numbers.
Was it matching numbers?
Yeah. Our trip will be going off along with Victoria Prue.
Yeah, 11 and 11. Yeah, you were absolutely right here. So we'll skate four-side. Face-off will remain in the SUNY Potsdam defensive zone.
We've seen some 5-on-4s. We've seen some 4-on-3s. We've seen some 5-on-5s.
5-on-3?
5-on-3. We haven't seen a 4-on-4. So we're seeing it all here tonight.
Yes, absolutely. I think we got to maybe throw a kitchen sink on the ice or something at this point. Puck gets thrown out of play, so again, they will just reset here at the same face-off circle to the right of Perron. Great crowd here for the first night of women's hockey at Maxey Hall, especially knowing that Clarkston University has men's hockey across the way in town.
And it's a miserable night out.
And it is a miserable night out, but we are glad that everybody is here in person. As that is a offsides called against the Bears. Also want to thank everybody listening on Mix 96.1 FM as well as watching live on PotsdamBears.com. As I believe, if I remember the schedule correctly, there should be about 5 women's hockey games that are going to go over Mix 96.1 FM's radio station and 9 or 11 men's hockey games this season. They split it up pretty well, so we'll just have to see how the season goes.
I think there's more than that women. I think we've got a total of 24 games.
Right. So that was just from the draft that I saw before. We'll see. Things change all the time. So, but we are glad that you're with us here as both teams right now still playing four-a-side.
You're right, because I was looking at the total schedule.
Total schedule, few games, same thing.
Yeah.
Over the blue line, that's deflected away. Shot again, knocked away by the stick of Skarupa. As Paradis is looking for her first goal here for SUNY as the SUNY Potsdam Bear. So we mentioned the freshman from Montreal, Quebec, not too far away from the North Country. Getting it out of the crowd there was Tosi as she looked for her defensive partner. However, it was too hard off the stick. Caswell lost that one. And finally, it does go over the blue line. Taking this one away is Catherine Palmer. And she will now skate as hard as she can to the bench.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a call. And they've got it.
Yep, they did call that in the back. Here's a chance, though, as the backhand by Castro misses the top.
Nice backhand look there. She wanted to go short side. And Skropa had good positioning on it, but albeit the puck was high and away anyway. So that's going to be a tripping call. Dangerous play there. That was leg check on Marandola. So
and she was favoring it out there too. Yeah. It wasn't like it was hidden. It was in plain sight there. Yeah. So I'm glad that they were able to actually call that penalty, as there's only about 6 seconds remaining on the matching minors.
So a little 4-on-3 here for just a little bit.
Well, yeah, it's weird because there's 5 Bears out there.
Now we see 4-on-3.
Yeah, exactly. We have seen literally everything.
The whole gambit of special teams here tonight.
And who knows, if a goal is scored here in the next couple minutes, we might see a 6-on-4 if the goalie gets pulled. Bullock surveys the landscape as she sets up shop at the top of the blue line. Wrist shot. That one gets through, but however, it is knocked away by the glove of Skarupa. Picked up here by AU. However, it didn't get out over the blue line, but then Bullock fanned on the pass, and it came out back to center ice.
She had a nice keep on the blue line, but just tried to make a pass, took her eye off the puck, just ever so briefly, but we have possession of it now here with 1:22 to go in the advantage.
Gamberger cross one-timer, and that one is kicked off the skate by the Golden Wolves netminder.
You got Paradis, who's going to get a shot away there.
Ooh! It hits the crossbar on the inside, but they call no goal. Just immediately waved off.
She's been an impressive player here tonight. We're talking about Coralie Paradis, who's gotten a lot of ice time here in this third period.
And she got all of that shot, too. She had a lot of force behind it. Still 50 seconds remaining here on the advantage for the Bears, as over the blue line will be Whiteside. being watched like a hawk and knocked down by Aaron Schutt. Schutt now trying to get away from the pressure being put on here as the second one coming in is Whiteside shot towards the net. However, Castro just puts it right into the crest of the jersey of Skarupa.
Yeah, good pressure by the Bears. They're getting some opportunities, albeit, Alvernia playing pretty solid here on the penalty kill, but the Bears are getting a couple of looks here.
Off the draw, that is one back here by the Golden Wolves, and Connick. Shot, I think it was supposed to be technically kind of just a pass towards the net, but it did make its way to the pad of Skarupa, and it went down the ice. 10 seconds remaining here on the penalty as it's a cross-ice pass, and it connects with the blade of Marandola. Kept alive. Trying to give a back pass here with support. Slap shot. That one goes off the waffle board of the Alvernia goalie.
Good shot there.
Puck squirts free towards the net. Back into the trapper. And here we go. Tripping over the netminder there was, I think, Marandula, and everybody got in there in a huge hurry.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to have a call. I don't think so. The puck was free, and that's open season for that loose puck. Marandola went aggressively after it and went over top of Skarupa, who had laid out to try to make that save. And so it got everybody's attention in front of the net. But good no call there by the officials, I feel.
Well, we have a moment. Do want to mention some of the women's SUNYAC scores. Haven't been able to get to them just yet. Buffalo State just exploded on King's College 9-1 this afternoon for the victory. Plattsburgh State shuts out Norwich 3-0. And meanwhile, Wilkes defeated Cortland 3-2, the final.
A couple of surprising scores there as we continue to look at it. Buff State sounding like they're much improved.
Mm-hmm.
They've struggled over the last few years, but putting 9 up on anybody shows a marked improvement, obviously, in their offense.
Delayed offsides is washed out here as the Bears have to go back into their own zone. Defensive pairing will pop that one up off the boards. However, nobody is over here next to the Golden Wolves bench. They tried going to the opposite side, should have just gone straight down the ice, north and south, as it was fired back in by Bullock. And here's a possible turnover here, as it's thrown to the blue line of the Bears. Now up into the the upper right-hand corner. Bullock will now look up. Her pass made its way to Mills, who loses it instantly and kind of gave a little bit of a throw there towards the player. Shot towards the net, right into the pads of Perron. That will be a whistle.
Yeah, Perron was in the position to make that play, make that save. 5:52 to go. Faceoff's going to be inside the Bears' zone to the right of Captain, exactly. Captain Magali Perron, the goaltender.
Well deserved, we might add.
Oh, sure. I'm telling you, she's been a tremendous leader here for this program. She's done everything what they've needed, and when they wanted to call on her, she's been the backstop. So no icing called there, surprisingly.
Picked up here by the Bears. Shot. Nice one fired on there by Whiteside. However, up to the task making the save was Skarupa. And that one flipped over a stick. Going after it here is going to be Paradis. And it quickly will make its way back left to right. Deflected in by Jane Gamberg, as she will try to go after this one and pick it away from Caswell. Caswell gets that in front of her own bench, but it is kept in by Paradis. Then it's poke checked off her blade. Coming back in with it this time is going to be Mirandola. Her shot deflected wide and up over the net. At the blue line, kept in barely by Castro, and then she loses control of it. Now again, it's going to be Gallardi as she tries to go towards the net. She thought she had support there. However, it's taken away once again by SUNY Potsdam. Thrown in at the last second at the blue line by Rebecca Kane.
Dangerous play on that blue line. You can't stick handle on the blue line there. Get it low, get it deep. Almost an odd person rush there.
Down below the net in SUNY Potsdam's defensive zone. Now it makes its way up. Flipped along, a poke check towards the net at the top of the crease. Skarupa is going to pounce on it.
That was Visco who was going to put pressure on the puck that was heading towards Skarupa, but she was able to freeze it. 4:02 to go in the third period. We're tied at 1. Face off to the right of the goaltender, Stephanie Skarupa, the sophomore.
This is Visco. As that one is shot around the boards to the near side and onside, barely there. Nice pass through those legs to Alexis Oliveira, who is looking for her second goal here of the night.
Yeah, a little bit of a minor change of direction there. Had to challenge Perron, but she was able to make the save.
Not a whole lot of time left here in the third period of play. 3 minutes and 26 seconds remaining. It's still 1-1.
Oh.
This one does get out over the blue line, delayed offsides. That is going to be backhanded off the glass. That hits the glove of Koshnik. And Bullock will now grab it again for the Bears, bringing it out of her own end. Dumping it in. She'll go after it. Picked up, whipped around by Hill. That goes off the boards. Picking it up and passing it back here to Prue was Boyd. And then there's some miscommunication there as Prue loses the puck. It's in her skates. And it goes down into the corner now. With possession of it, that is Emma Hart, the sophomore here for AU. And now squirting free and with a break going the other way are the Bears. Here's a shot towards the net, and that one hits the bottom of the blocker.
That was a good shot there by Megan Mills. Purdy and Mills have been very active here in this game. Purdy in particular on the penalty kill, but good solid look there for Mills and a good shot.
Slap shot by Prue through traffic, and again that one winds up getting hit off the left pad of Stephanie Skarupa.
Good read by Victoria Prue as she came way into the zone from her defensive positioning there, but nice play to keep that in.
Lots of time here for SUNY Potsdam to set up, and it's going to be picked up by Marissa Whiteside. However, it's going to be called in offsides there as it was tipped back into the neutral zone by AU.
Well, Coach Cook having a lot of confidence in this freshman line here as they are on with 1:47 to go in the third period. Whiteside, Paradis, and Gamberg, they've been very active here in this game, but in particular in the third period.
First one back for it is going to be Elise Clifford, and that one goes off of the bench. Actually, I believe it hit the glove of Elise, who was down there in the middle of the bench.
So having a look over?
Yeah, so the puck remains in the defensive zone of the Bears. And it's won back here by the Golden Wolves. 1:30 remaining here on the clock. Back pass. That'll make its way to Caswell. And across for Gallardi. Gallardi curls down in the corner, trying to get away from her defender, but she does have to pass it along for Connick. Connick out in the slot, and that one is swatted away here by SUNY Potsdam. Coming back the other way, reverse the speed is going to be Paradis, and she's taken down. No call as both players fall to the ice.
That was close to a leg check there as well. No call here late. 50 seconds to go in regulation time now as AU gets a full change. Bears have a momentum coming through, but they were stopped in the neutral zone. 38 seconds here as the clock is winding down.
Saucer pass was knocked down there by Palmer, and she will go down to the ice for her troubles. That one head on. Perron had to be ready for that one and make the save for a face-off. Now let's see. Thought maybe Coach Cook might take a timeout here for SUNY Potsdam just to get a play set up here with about 25 seconds remaining.
You remember that AU burned their timeout there very early in the game.
Wide open is Castro over there. She gets a chance, and again, beautifully kicked away by Skarupa. 10 seconds remaining on the clock as that one's backhanded down into the corner. Picked up by Burton, and she's just going to try to get it on the half wall. Burn the last 2 seconds. The horn sounds, and we are tied through 3 periods of play here at Maxey Hall, and we will have ourselves a short little overtime session.
Well, we're going to have 5 minutes, I believe. There's going to be no doubt that 5 minutes will be to decide it. I think we're going to see 3-on-3. Do we see 3-on-3?
I believe it is.
I know on the men's side, I believe you're going to see 3-on-3. You're going to check a score, see what we have there.
Yes, we're going to try to get some updates here.
So we got a minute and a half. We're going to just remind everyone that we're going to be here tomorrow for a 3 o'clock game. Next week, we're not going to have any games here in Maxey Hall, as both clubs will be on the road. But we'll return here. We'll get the schedule out and mention it before, but in a couple of weeks, we'll be back in business here in Maxey Hall. But this has been a very entertaining game. Alvernia University coming in here from Reading, Pennsylvania, really giving the Bears all they can handle, and the Bears giving them all they can handle. Been a very entertaining game. The shots on goal, at least through 2 periods, fairly even, 18-11. Bears having the advantage there. So just a slight advantage maybe in play for the Bears, but it's an even game, and the score indicates that.
And we do have an update, a little bit of positive news here. In the 3rd period with 5 minutes remaining, it is SUNY Potsdam men's hockey 4, Fredonia State 2.
Well, that's, Coach Mike Grace in his first regular season game here, and the new coach for the Bears. We are seeing 3-on-3 here, 4 or 5 minutes or less, but it'd be nice if he can get away with a win in his first league contest.
This is Bullock. Has one to beat. That one is poke checked off her stick. She does get it back. However, here's a late pinch by Gamberg, and that might cost them. Trying to get back. Wow, look at the speed by Paradis to get back.
She is a hockey player, I'll tell you.
And here's a chance as 2 of the players have gone down. This could be a 3-on-1 opportunity as Bullock needs to get the Jets moving. Bullock in. Again, poke checked off her stick. And a good possible chance there for a 3-on-1 is averted by the Golden Wolves.
Well, that was a good stick by the Alvernia defender, and probably not the best decision there. A little drop pass perhaps to Paradis would have been the thought that you want to have there, but she's on here for a good long good long shift as she possesses the puck low in the zone and will now exit for a breather.
Yeah, she'll be taken off the ice by Isabel Boyd, who has the 1 goal here for SUNY Potsdam. Here's a shot towards the net. Nicely done by Castro, using her body to her advantage to get that opportunity for the shot. However, that's about the 2nd or 3rd time that she's put it right into the center of the chest of the Alvernia netminder.
She had to go a long way along the roof.
Yeah,
she had to make the good semicircle to get that shot. I don't think she got everything on it that she wanted to, but that's a face-off win for Alvernia now, and they'll go on the attack.
On the left wing side, that is going to be Hill towards the net. That one's knocked away. Beautifully done by Victoria Pro.
Bears lost their check here. This is almost a one-on-one game, and you got to be careful when that you don't lose the check. And the Bears had cheated towards the puck, and the off wing was open, but Alvernia couldn't find that player, and this is a 2-on-1.
Oh no, here's a chance as coming in with it is Evans. She tries to deke, and that is going to be a penalty on Rebecca Kane. Are they going to call? No, it's just going to be a tripping.
Yeah.
That could have instantly been a penalty shot, but nowadays, what constitutes a penalty shot? You know, a lot of things look so close.
They don't hardly ever call those things anymore, but we're going to see 4-on-3, I believe, here.
Yeah, and there's still plenty of time here. 3 minutes and 12 seconds remaining.
Face off inside the Bears zone.
Now wait a second. Are they saying that Alvernia is calling a timeout? Is it not supposed to reset? They already used their one timeout.
You know, I don't know. I don't know that. To me, I don't know if you get an extra timeout in overtime.
And that's what Perron was coming over to ask too. She just took her trap off and said, "Do they get 2 timeouts?" And I guess they're gonna here.
So shame on us for not knowing that, but I guess I did not know that.
Let's just slap our wrists on this one, fans. Yeah. I'll tell you that much. Also, update here on the World Series, bottom of the 4th inning, still scoreless between Toronto and Los Angeles as the Blue Jays trying to bring the World Series back home for the first time since 1993.
Well, we're going to see that great pitcher for L.A.
Ohtani.
No, the other one. The other guy. I'm not sure what his name is, but he went the full distance the other night for the victory for the Dodgers.
Yes, he did.
So it's going to be 4-on-3 hockey here for the next 2 minutes or less. 3:12 to go in this overtime stanza. On the tripping call that went against Rebecca Kane.
Puck won here by the Golden Wolves as they will try to get the play started here. As Coach Horn mentioned here, it's going to be a 4-on-3, and then there will be probably just about a minute and 10, maybe a minute and 20 seconds remaining after the power play if it goes the distance. Curling around at the top of the circle. Here's a shot.
That was labeled.
And it was labeled at the last second. Perron brings up the elbow to make a stop.
Boy, that thing was labeled.
That was a bullet by sophomore Emma Hart for the Golden Wolves, and the puck finally comes free here. You mentioned earlier letting the play go a little bit too long. We'll see here if it's going to be a bad omen here for the Bears as that goes off the shoulder of Clifford, and it is cleared by Simi Potsdam.
And as they do, they make it this a long change stanza here, so both teams have to be mindful of how they get players off the ice.
And just as you said that, the Bears now bring back out Prue, and Clifford is going to change with Bullock. Meanwhile, with the puck is going to be Alvernia. Her pass skips over a stick. Fanning on the slap shot there was shut. And the Bears also fanned on the clear attempt. 20 seconds remaining. That shot goes off the trapper of Perron. She thought she had it in her mitt. However, it goes down into the corner. Back out in front in the slot area. Two beautiful stops by Perron.
The initial one and the rebound. That was a great opportunity there for Evans to get the game winner, but that right pad was out and made a tremendous save. We're back to even strength with 1:04 to go in this overtime stanza.
Yes, we will skate Forest side here until at least we have a whistle. Here's a one-timer, and again, Perron up to the task. And we'll have a face-off to the right with 54 seconds remaining here in overtime.
There was a tripping call that I thought should have been made behind the net.
I think many people here in the building thought that it should have been. There was an ooh and an ah there behind the net.
But nonetheless here, so 3-on-3 Face-off for the Bears is won by Alvernia, but that's going to go all the way down the zone. All the ice, rather. Excuse me.
Backtracking here is Shut. She will use the net to her advantage to get away from Paradis, who's had a lovely first game here for the Bears. She would like to finish this game with a game winner, but there's only 30 seconds remaining on the scoreboard. Getting away with this one is Hart.
There it is.
Score! It was deflected in, I believe, off a stick, or are they going to say Hart just got that through the legs of Perrault? In any event, Alvernia's going to squeak by with an overtime win, 2-1.
I wasn't sure whether Palmer touched that as well. I don't know. 21 was in the vicinity, and whether that went off the leg of a defender or not, I'm not sure. But highly entertaining game. Disappointed, I'm sure, here, as the Bears certainly played good enough to win, but so did Alvernia, and they did.
So Alvernia able to come up with 2 straight goals. Come back here away from their home barn. They're able to squeak out a on-the-road win and to look to do the sweep tomorrow afternoon if possible.
Well, you know what happened there? You had that 4-on-3 power play. And they were able to get sustained pressure inside the zone. And when the power play was over, they ended up having a face-off within the zone. There was only 3-on-3 for a small period of time, so there was a lot of zone time. Actually, I don't think Potsdam got down the ice in that overtime stanza hardly at all, if at all.
I think they only did for probably about one rush, and it was probably for about less than 10 seconds. Very funny how the goal comes from the I guess you could still call it the Sidney Crosby area, over on the half wall through the 5-hole.
Yeah, it did. It made it all the way over there. It was certainly a bad angle shot.
Tough angle.
I'm not sure. I got to believe that it was redirected somehow. I don't know for sure, but we'll see who ends up getting credit for that eventually.
Yeah, as we wait here for the final statistics, and both teams leave the ice. Do want to try to see here real quick.
Yeah, let's see if we can get that score down in Fredonia.
Yeah, I will work on that here real quick as like we said, we're waiting here for the final statistics, but we will have those here. We'll have our little post-game wrap-up, and like we mentioned, we'll be back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. in Maxey Hall. If you are around the area, feel free to come out here. It was a great crowd tonight. We're looking forward to another great crowd tomorrow afternoon.
So I was just trying to get a look here at what would be the upcoming schedule for the Bears. The women's team will be playing tomorrow, as we said, at 3 o'clock. And then they're on the road November 7th and 8th, both games at Elmira, before returning home here on the 14th and the 15th to face Buff State and William Smith.
Which we heard, obviously, during the third period, that Buffalo State might have themselves a real contender after demolishing Kings by almost a total of 8 goals.
Well, we're not going to get, I don't think, if you can get the stats there or not, but
I don't have the stats here, but I do have the update. It is official. It is a 4-2 final, as SUNY Potsdam's men's hockey team will defeat the Fredonia State Blue Devils in Fredonia. So that is a little bit of a feather in the cap here for the men's hockey team, starting off the season 1-0.
I wanted to see if we could find out who got that goal.
To be honest, I think they're trying to go back and watch the live feed to see exactly what happened.
To see what was reported there, not being able to see the statistics on what I'm looking at here on the live stats, albeit.
See if we get something else here.
They don't have it. They don't have it up yet. Here it is, right here.
Thank you, Mike.
It is going to be Emma Hart who gets that winning goal in overtime, and Schutt would pick up the assist. Shots on goal in the third period would be the Bears outshooting the Wolves 9-4, but the Wolves would, the Golden Wolves would outshoot the Bears 5-1 in overtime, largely on the backs of that 2-minute power play. And so they did have some considerable zone time, which is obvious, but nonetheless, it's a loss for the Bears here. And however, they played a very, very good hockey game. This was a very entertaining hockey game, and so we look forward to having everybody join us tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
A lot of positives to look forward to for tomorrow's game for SUNY Potsdam, but that'll do it for us here tonight. And we want to thank the wonderful volunteers and staff at Maxey Hall as well as SUNY Potsdam, and a big thank you across the sound waves for everybody who's been listening on Mix 96.1 FM and watching along live on PotsdamBears.com. For former Potsdam Bears coach John Horn and for Todd Truax engineering this broadcast back at Mix 96.1 FM, I'm Taylor Salisbury, and once again your final in women's hockey. It was Alvernia University 2 and SUNY Potsdam Bears 1, your final in overtime. We will see you tomorrow afternoon, but until then, have a great and safe Halloween night from all of us here at Mix 96.1 FM and PotsdamBears.com, a Stevens Communications station.
Good job.